Oh, okay. They didn't have anywhere else to go in that level because the map size had been maximized, so they spit us into the ether, and we ended up over here somehow. I guess we just clipped through the bottom of this platform. And if we hadn't got the puzzle the first time, here it is again. Knock down the boulder. And there's no way to get hit by that boulder. It's completely safe.
And it will always go in one direction, no matter where you hit it.
That's actually true. I should have hit it from the other side. I'm the worst Let's Play ever. Oh, and here's the other hostage. It's the last one of the game. They hid that one so well. It was nearly mandatory, even though it wasn't. Also, there are some hidden bear traps down there, just in case you wanted to get a 100% bear trap run, earning you the rank of bear. These ropes you remember from, I believe it was the Green Park level, and the spider webs as well. And the metal eyeballs that belong in these thickets for no reason from the sludge factory. We don't actually have to contend with them at all because we can glide pretty slowly around them.
Those are obviously pine cones.
Oh, of course, that's what they're doing in the forest. But how could you explain the spider webs? The spider webs attached to nothing. Surely they aren't pine cones that shoot web. Here they're trying to throw us off by pointing us directly to that rope off to my left, but we're supposed to go to the rope to the right. That's the one puzzle in this area. And the checkpoint, the old checkpoint on the spider web. I think I just actually skipped a couple of ropes, but at this point it's kind of warranted. No, I skipped a couple of spider webs. One of the very, very few times the arrow from a checkpoint is actually useful. This area has a lot of disjointed, this world in general has a lot of disjointed platforming elements, and also these plants have a very diverse habitat. They can grow on standalone platforms, rocks, and thickets.
As well as Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
And Banjo-Tooie. And I think that's about it, because we're getting to the end of the map. Also, there is a tree with a doorknob that is completely hollowed out. Also, as you can see at the top of the screen there, has no walls. It's just a solid stump. But from the outside, it actually goes a lot higher, strange as that may seem. I'm sure it's going to be all cleared up once I just cross this threshold. Right there. The door slams in my face. I think that's the semblance of a sentient being in this tree that I'm going to be climbing up. Power level 10, tokens 10, hostages 32 of 32. There are no more of any of those things, yet we only have 90% of the things. So I guess Knarf is 3% of the game. A bee and a goateed spider, both from the Museum Madness level. Oh god, look at the close-up of that guy's eyes. That is an angry spider with nostrils. At this point, if we're holding the correct direction and have the camera pointed in the opposite correct direction, we don't actually have to glide through any of those except the last one. And this bee is trying to screw me up, but I'm not going to let him. And through this area, we'll just be crossing literally through the trees with these oddly wedge-shaped branches. Also, this bee's shadow is trying to catch me. If we do fall down right now, we could land on that spider web rather than climbing the rest of this tree. But I want to point out something here. This is the natural defense and/or reproduction system of this tree. It is an exploding acorn that falls periodically onto its branch. That almost was survived by me. Some of the oddest sentence structure in this Let's Play so far. But a large amount of this area can be cheesed by having bees and plants. I mean, who would have thought together at once? Okay, that is really, really a problem, because I can't attack until I've reached the height of this spit. Oh Okay, now if another one doesn't spawn here in any given time, a lot of this area can be cheesed just because of the fact that we're going downwards a lot, and we glide at a pretty forgiving rate. See, I don't even have to land on this tree at all. I can just go right onto the spider web, which is springy enough just to get us to the second platform. The acorns that explode do not have the greatest collision detection in a Jersey Devil game. Go figure. And they also drop at extremely infrequent intervals, so it's hard to get the timing right. Also varying intervals depending on when you're about to go, because they want you to kill you as much as possible, slowing you down. Remember the shape of this branch. It was also the shape of the branch which was black and white striped from before. We're going to be seeing it quite some amount of times. The last of the spider webs. By this time, I'm pretty sure that you, like me, are getting tired of the spider web bouncing mechanic, and I really would hope at this point that they switched it up a bit. But, okay, you can clearly see that that has no bottom, but it's the only remaining... Oh, okay, I guess we're over here now. I guess we are now in a much larger tree stump that is nowhere near that forest. Also, N, meaning Carf is around here somewhere. Okay. Now this looks... I mean, come on, we've been through this before. This is obviously a trap. This is just a boss arena waiting to happen. As soon as I get into that dirt, thousands of carrots and tomatoes are going to spawn, and I'm going to have a mini-boss fight, or possibly even the boss fight, before all of the letters can be collected.
And then there's a tiny rat. Yay!
No, but there is a butterfly, and it is not going to come into play. Actually, this is a different model of butterfly than the one seen on the city homeworld. This one is green, the other one was yellow. I like that attention to detail because we're in a green environment. It will have evolved green. Also, that is a locked giant K padlock nowhere near the doorknob of a door that is part of a tree.
It is also bolted down.
And those hinges are nowhere. Okay, this is just a simple mechanic. Spiral, it's even easier than the spinning of the, look at that. You see that thing up right by the life bar now? Its draw distances in and out, and I'm not even sure what that structure is supposed to be, so I'm very curious to actually get closer to it. As you can see, very many steps being skipped because, again, it is a downhill section in a game with gliding. Oh, it's that tree branch again. I guess that's another product of a mad scientist. He was in his cloning period when he created this forest. I'm pretty sure every one of these trees I'm jumping on now is just a copy-paste and rotate. Oh, and this rope is severely different from the others in the game because it is swinging back and forth with supreme animation. It's gotta have like 5 frames. Oh, faking myself out there. And it looks like we can actually walk on the peanut-shaped bunch of leaves jettisoning off of these trees, which are clearly not branches or leaves from branches. They're just a bush taped to a branch. But we can't. We phase right through them. And this is bound to be found in a forest created by a mad scientist. It is a tree that grew a branch through its trunk, which was also flat, and also was one of those drive-through tree attractions you see on the highway. And it's dropping many of its seedlings out of the ground, so we can expect to have thousands of these by the time the game ends. If we wait long enough, those acorns will actually grow into tiny trees, and if we jump on the trees, they become big and then small again. Oh, hey, it's that branch again. I'm really surprised it didn't actually lead to the same branch on another tree. Oh, it's another tree that has a branch going through it. Oh, and finally my foreshadowing comes actually into play. I'm sick of bouncing spider webs. Let's have bouncing disembodied leaves instead. They have a different sound effect. And pretty much no discernible difference in gameplay. Because they vary the size of the spider webs, they didn't need to change it at all. Okay, I'm back to my spider webs. I feel comfortable. This is much more realistic. My belief is, again, suspended. Also, we already did this exact sequence earlier. Only this time, we have to glide down a series of pumpkins. Oh no, I don't know where I'm going to land. It doesn't matter. That's the end of this area. They really didn't think through the connections between one level and the next. Well, actually, you saw that I just fell through a line of pumpkins. Oh, I'm kidding. Now, surely this has to be the mini-boss arena. I mean, there's a door right there. It's obviously the end of the level because there's nothing else loaded. So as soon as I step forward, I'm going to get 5 tokens and unlock that door. This jolly little fellow was actually foreshadowed in the very opening cutscene where he was terrorizing some citizens in City Hall. That is one of his only attacks, is to dive at us, and he does it quite frequently. You may think that when he is underground and has no way of defending himself, we're supposed to run up to him and hit him, but no. He is invulnerable during that period. Also, he can form a solid lump that just travels along the ground and whip us with his carrot head. I'm guessing it's obviously not a genetic defect. That is a guy in a carrot costume, and the only time we can hit him is when he's above ground entirely. So ignoring. If we don't go anywhere near him, he doesn't have any attacks in that position. It is not threatening at all. What is threatening is every time we hit him, he spawns carrots. Which I'm going to do my best to just avoid and ignore because they annoy me so much. And their shoes are striped. And this attack, he hardly actually ever does. Except for when I'm recording, I guess. He wants to show off for the folks at home. And I think, even though he's a mini-boss, he doesn't have a life bar, and he only takes 3 hits to kill. 3 hits, not counting all the ones in his invulnerable frames. And ones where he doesn't spawn carrots, those don't count either. And when he dies, he actually spawns so many carrots that the sound cannot be contained. I just wanted you to remember this image because I know I have an image. Of course, because I have an area of effect attack, they all die in pretty much instant. Now, class, if the mini-boss we just defeated did not explode into his separate parts, what are we going to do with his body? I know they haven't implemented this mechanic since the factory, actually, but we can push his body, and he's bouncy as hell. For no reason, because he's not squishy, he is a carrot, which are actually very hard until you boil them, and at that point they're not springy or any kind. They just wanted to throw this mechanic in because they programmed it, goddammit. They're using it. A problem with this mechanic is, though, we can't push him anywhere near the edge of this platform as we want, because you see this bounce isn't all that great. It's supposed to get us across this gap. Because of the weird polygons in this platform here, we can't actually get him anywhere near the edge. We just have to push him as close as we can, get a running start, and hope for the best. I think I should have hoped better. And I do not believe that this was accidental. I think they wanted a number of players to give up at this point, because it is basically impossible. I think I can push him a little bit closer if I go to this angle. And the slope is actually so great that I can actually just walk on top of his body from this angle. But we want to get over there, so we will jump beyond his body, where his hitbox is so huge that we can still bounce. Now, see if we can solve this one last puzzle for this area. We have a gate we cannot punch open, and we have a winch.
Do you go around?
Well, you might think that, but there's actually an invisible... Oh, I actually jumped on the winch. There is an invisible wall going around this area, so... I guess that wasn't the solution.